agenda.
No, I
Yeah.
don't remember this.
Mike.
How are you?
Thanks.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, how are you?
Okay.
Oh, cool. It's even shorter.
I'm doing good. How you doing?
How you doing? What's going on?
Jesus, now we're down to one.
Yeah, it's good.
Which one is this?
That's the new business. Our second one here.
Get rid of one of them.
The other one's real easy. That is the sign.
Yeah.
That must be her back there.
No, she's from MI Homes.
Okay.
No, she's from,
Yeah, they didn't have time to ever vetted on all our past criminal activity. We've had that happen before, where we allowed one of
They
these
took
and we
one
found
away,
out that
yeah.
the woman had a record about as mile long.
Yeah. It's like, she was like from Crystal Lake or
I
something.
wish I would've gotten there before they did. Damn, we're on the air.
Yeah.
Okay. Knock Trump out of the news.
Yeah, right. You'll be the front page story.
The crowd is getting surly.
We're ready whenever
We're
you
gonna
are.
have mob riot out here pretty soon with all these people. Everybody sitting in the back rows. Get up here where all the activity is. Are we ready?
Yes, we're ready.
Okay, meeting will come to order. This is the duly advertised meeting of the Joliet Zoning Board of Appeals. In our capacity, we hear petitions for relief from the strict provisions of our city ordinance. In matters of this type, the decision of this board is final. In respect, it does not go to the mayor or the city council for any further action. If you disagree with us, you do have recourse in the court of record. We also hear petitions for variations of land use. In matters of this type, we act as an advisory committee to the mayor and city council, making a recommendation for or against the petition. Final decision on land use is made by the mayor and the city council. Secretary, call the roll, please.
Ms. Saffer? Here. Mr. Lucio?
Here.
Mr. McCauley?
Here.
Mr. Noctree?
Here.
Mr. Riggs?
Here.
Mr. Thompson?
Here.
Mr. Hennessy?
I am here.
Mr. Chair, before we get to the third item on the agenda, that would be the approval of the minutes, I just want to make an announcement that shortly before the meeting this afternoon, we went through and discovered a minor technical error in the filing of the application for the petition number 2019-34. That's at 310 North Hamus Avenue. Thank you. 310 North Hamus Avenue. That was a request for a special use permit for a massage therapy business within an office suite. And that matter will come back before you in 1 month at the November
What was
meeting.
the problem? Was that the vetting or what?
No, with the background check came back fine. It was a staff error, actually. We need to republish and re-advertise that as a, it's in addition to the special use, they would also technically need a variation of use.
Okay, is anybody here
Conjunction.
for that petition? Okay, let's
So
proceed.
we spoke with the applicant this afternoon, and she was very understanding. So that will come back to you in 1 month.
Didn't
and then
rub her
it
the
would-
wrong way, huh?
I'm sorry?
Oh, man.
Proceed.
Okay. I don't know how to respond to that.
Don't.
The other item on, your next item on your agenda is the approval of the minutes of August 15th, 2019, as well as the September 19th, 2019 Zoning Board of Appeals minutes. You can either vote on those together or separately.
Motion be in order.
Motion to approve both months' meetings, minutes.
Have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve. The motion carry, poll the board.
Ms. Sanford?
Aye.
Mr. Alessio?
Aye.
Mr. McCauley?
Aye.
Mr. Noctre?
I abstain on August 15 because I wasn't here, and I say aye on September 19.
Boy, what a memory.
Yeah,
You're
you were
getting
gonna,
good at this.
you were gonna hang me up.
Mr. Riggs?
Aye.
Mr. Thompson?
Aye.
Mr. Hennessy?
Aye.
The next item on your agenda is citizens to be heard on agenda items, and this is for anyone wishing to speak regarding items that are listed on the agenda, except for those listed under public hearings. So in this case, all of the items on our agenda today are public hearings. So I don't believe we have anybody for these, for this section. The next item would be old business, and this is a public hearing, petition 2019-30. This is a request for a variation to allow an off-premise sign advertising MI Homes sales in the Legacy Point subdivision located at the northwest corner of Theodore Street and Drouden Road. And the applicant is MI Homes of Chicago LLC, represented by Tanya Naji. And again, this is a request to allow the off-premise sign for the marketing of new homes in the Legacy Point subdivision. The zoning board makes the final decision for this type of request. Under site-specific information, the subject site received approval for annexation agreement, and zoning reclassification to R2 in February 1991. An amendment to the annexation agreement, the zoning reclassification to B1, and the Theodore's Commons subdivision were approved in March 2009, but was never developed as per the approved plans. Surrounding zoning, land use, and character, to the north is a farmstead zoned A1 agriculture in unincorporated Will County. To the south is residential, east residential, R2, and to the west is also residential, R2. Applicable regulations are as noted, and basically, MI Homes is a Chicago LLC. They are a local home builder who wishes to draw more attention to their home lots that are available at Legacy Point. That subdivision is located 3/4 of a mile west on the south side of Theodore Street. The proposed off-premise sign would be placed near the intersection of Theodore Street and Drouden Road. I believe a site plan is included in your packet. The sign will be V-shaped and double-faced with two 8x12 sign faces, and I think those are displayed on the screen. The petitioner has indicated that a 3-foot by 12-foot lattice panel will be placed along the bottom of the sign, and ornate posts will be added as decorative features of the sign. The sign will be placed 10 feet from the property lines in order to comply with city ordinance. And if the zoning board desires to approve the variation, the following conditions should be considered. 1, that the off-premise sign on the subject site shall be permitted for a 3-year period expiring on September 19th of 2022. The off-premise sign shall be removed no later than 30 days from the approval date. And 2, that the base of the off-premise sign shall be wrapped with a 3-foot by 12-foot lattice, with 3-foot by 12-foot lattice panels, and that concludes staff's report.
Thank you. Petitioner present. Want to come forward, please?
Good afternoon.
I swear you went. Do you swear the evidence you're about to present is the truth under penalty of law? Name and address.
My name is Matt Pagoria. I'm here representing MI Homes. Our address is 400 East Deal in Naperville, Illinois.
Why is this before, is it because of the two signs, or what is the?
It's an off-premise sign, so we only allow, our sign code only allows signs to be on site from what they are
It's
advertising.
not, okay, it's just a, okay. Go ahead.
I think staff did a great job of giving you all the details about what it is we're proposing. There's not a whole lot for me to add. We have a subdivision down the street. We bought some vacant lots that were remaining in the Legacy Point subdivision. These lots lack visibility off of Theodore, so one of the things we're trying to do is just add some marketing presence along Theodore to help drive some traffic to our site.
And that'll be, what, for a term of 3 years?
Correct.
Any questions by the board?
I have a question. The application here states that the property of the proposed off-premise signs does not belong to you folks. I assume the owner has no problem with this.
Correct. We have met with the owner. We actually have a sign lease prepared and executed in hopes that the ZBA would approve our variance.
Okay.
Any other questions by the board? Anyone in the audience wishing to speak in favor? Anyone opposed? Silence. Chair closes the petition to the floor and asks the board for discussion and a motion.
Motion to approve.
I second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the petition. Call the roll.
Mr. Alessio?
Aye.
Mr. McCauley?
Aye.
Mr. Noctre?
Aye.
Mr. Riggs?
Aye.
Mr. Thompson?
Aye.
Ms. Sanford?
Aye.
Mr. Hennessy?
Aye. Because of your great presentation, I think this is the shortest zoning board meeting in history.
Thank you very much.
Nice preparation. Anything else?
So, Mr. Chair, the next item on your agenda is old business not having a public hearing. There are no items. And under new business public hearing, I would just ask on the reminder that the information I presented earlier, that there be a formal motion to table petition 2019-34 for 310 North Hamus Avenue to the November Zoning Board of Appeals meeting.
Motion would be in order.
I would so move.
Second.
You have a motion and a second to table it to the next meeting. Call the board.
Mr. McCauley?
Aye.
Mr. Noctre?
Aye.
Mr. Riggs?
Aye.
Mr. Thompson?
Aye.
Ms. Sanford?
Aye.
Mr. Alessio?
Aye.
Mr. Hennessy?
Aye.
The next item on your agenda, under new business, there are no non-public hearing new business items. The last would be then public comments for anyone wanting to speak on non-agenda items in general, and anyone wishing to speak is entitled to a maximum of 4 minutes. It is not a question and answer period, and staff and the Zoning Board of Appeals do not generally respond to public comments. Is there anyone in the audience wishing to please approach?
Uh-oh, we're in trouble now.
Must swear you in, sir. Do you swear the evidence you're about to present is the truth and opinion?
I do. Barry McHugh.
Address.
Pardon me?
Name and address.
Barry McHugh, 808 Mason Avenue. Kappa made a small change. He's no longer the zoning director. I am, so I'll be monitoring in this from a Kappa perspective, so you'll see me around occasionally. And that's about it, so that's the new
Wonderful.
position. There is a small thing. Kappa is now a 501(c)(3) organization, and as such, what we do is we're concerned with the more than just our little area. We're concerned with the neighborhoods and the housing stock and the preservation of the housing stock in general throughout the city. So, but our primary concern is within our historic boundaries.
How many associations are there now in the city?
Pardon me?
How many homeowners associations are there? I mean, I started off with you guys, then St. Pat's, then St. John's.
There's somewhere between 6 and 9. I'm not an expert on it, but they have a joint meeting of the neighborhood groups, and there's, I believe, it comes and goes, 6 to 9 different groups throughout the,
How often do you meet, like once a month or?
well, the group meets once a month. We meet once a month, so you have once a month where the neighborhood groups all get together and talk about their main issues and where they're gonna go from there. The west side typically doesn't have them. They're mostly, as I understand it, homeowners associations, which serve a similar function.
Except everyone owns their own home and share in the cost for that particular, for the public areas of that neighborhood. And what Barry's talking about.
They perform a similar function.
Right.
That we do.
Right, what Barry's talking about are the neighborhood organizations basically in the near west and near east side, which is mostly lower income and less aggressive, shall we say, city services.
Well, I'd like to know if you left voluntarily, if they forced you out, Bob.
It's nice to have Kappa representation on the zoning board. It's a
Did
strong
he
neighborhood representation.
Get a gold watch or?
A boot in the rear end, but.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Means he gets a nicer chair at this meeting.
This is true. These are very nice. You might want to join us up here.
Well, let's see, Jan Quillman started off here, so. You could have a future.
Are you gonna be a councilman?
I used to be a councilman,
Maybe try it
and my
again.
grandfather was mayor, and my dad was mayor, so been around a long time. I just refuse to leave, that's all.
Okay, well, thank you for your time.
Thank you. Anything else?
Staff does not have any other, unless there are questions or comments from the board. Staff does not have anything to
Anybody have
add.
any comments of any kind?
Packet.
Hmm?
We're talking about the packet.
Yeah, you could if you want to. I guess some of the guys wanted some discussion on this new plan of not having all the papers in front of us and not some dissatisfaction, I guess. I've had a couple of calls.
Yeah, so at the last meeting, if you recall, we briefly mentioned on the way out that basically, we're trying to go more digital. Many communities are doing that, and we're trying to be as efficient as we
We
can.
know all that. I'd like to hear from the board
So
members.
is there, my understanding, there's a
Anybody has
couple
any
people that would
problems with it.
still like the paper packets. Is that,
You know, on second thought, I'd rather still have the paper packets.
we can discuss
What's the
that?
difference between her time and my time? I mean, I'm still gonna have to print it out anyway and get on the computer and print it out.
That costs you paper and ink cartridges.
Yeah,
Can
is
you,
not
do you have it,
insignificant.
are you able just to read it on the screen, or do you?
Yeah, I can read it on the screen or on the email or whatever, but, you know, I always like just seeing the paper packet. I don't get much mail anyway, so I mean, you know, I mean, it's,
Anybody else have any comments on it?
Well, I prefer the paper also, like Mr. McCauley said, because I'm so used to it. You have paper right there that you can go over. And I enjoy doing that. So hopefully we can meet some common ground to have the paper also, because I think it comes in handy for everybody in the board.
So there's no general policy, as to my knowledge, and you know, every board and commission is different. We're trying to just be more efficient with our resources. We'll certainly take that under advisement and have a discussion about it. And I know that previously we did print I think a couple people were still getting the paper. It adds, you know, the time of the postage, the copying, the collating and all of that, it does take a little bit of a time. It's not a massive amount of time, but every little bit adds up for us, given the level of resources that we have. So if printing is two of the people is what I'm hearing, are others generally accepting the digital format where you get an email?
Well, this
link?
meeting wasn't a typical meeting. I mean, we only had the one item, but, you know, I think what they're concerned about, if you get a bigger agenda, you can get a little
Which is a
confusing.
lot of copying for us. They can add up, and we can
So
have
if you wanna ride
hundreds
with the way
of
it's going,
pages.
Fine, and then bring it up later if we're having problems.
Yeah, there's no overriding policy from
I know. I'm aware
downward.
of
So
that.
every board and commission, we're gonna kind of take a look at individually.
Well, could we send a bill for paper and ink cartridges to you?
Unfortunately, no, that's just part of what we do. But we're just trying to find here and there little efficiencies that save staff time. We really don't have a lot of the administrative
Yeah, we don't
support
pay.
that we.
I like the digital.
Hmm?
I'm okay with the digital.
Okay.
I'm
So-
fine with the digital until the day of the meeting, because we don't have control over the screen. So sometimes I want to be looking at something,
Right.
and unless I'm printing it out like Bob did, which I think is something I can handle, no problem. But it is nice to have the agenda, because sometimes something that's being shown on the screen isn't relevant to what I'm considering.
So I know this has come up in recent years, number of times, even before I've arrived here. And I think the decision was that we would print maybe one copy for the dais. Was that, you recall? No? No. He doesn't recall. I've been here 3 years, so it was predating me. If there are I'm hearing 3 individuals, so is that accurate? That still want paper?
3.5. I haven't decided yet. I want to see what we do with the big agenda.
This is my second meeting. Could I hold off on making a decision for a couple more meetings to see how it goes?
I mean, here's where we're at. If we're gonna go back to paper and everybody gets paper, multiply, 7 times, if each, let's say a typical packet might have 30, 40, 50 pages. It's just, it's not just the paper cost. I mean, that's not the issue. It's the staff time of the mailing, the
Well, I'm not
collating,
sure that we need all of these copies of the ordinances and everything else, because that's just repetition. It's just some of the basics, the basic discussion and that kind of thing. All that other stuff is the same on every packet. Each individual petition has got the same identical information, and it's just a duplication of everything. You could leave all that out.
I'm not sure I would agree with that. I think they're all individually unique. They all have different criteria, standards attached, different maps and so
And
forth.
let's just ride with it the way it is now and wait and see if we
So
have any
we'll
problems.
take that under advisement that 3 individuals would prefer paper. And maybe we make a 4th as a sort of floating desk copy. But again, we're just trying to find efficiencies where we can because it's
Okay, that's-
zoning board, historic preservation, plan commission. If we really put the numbers together on the amount of paper and the amount of time and collating and mailing and postage, and it would be an eye-opener, I think. So we'll bring it back. We'll talk more and we'll bring something back for the next meeting. Okay?
Let's go.
The
Motion
last
to-
item is adjournment.
Motion, everyone in favor of adjournment signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Meeting is adjourned.